What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Sarlacc Digest, a podcast bringing you line talk and digesting Star Wars topics over 1,000 years. This is the Lost episode 161. I know we're at live 162, but something got mixed up. But we found this episode, and now we're gonna bring it to everybody. Of course, this is the pre-show before our next live episodes was on Wednesdays, and Kenobi episode 4. So please enjoy, because we're going to go over the entire Star Wars slate that's coming, that's in production, that's announced. We're going to kind of minor this. We got a lot of stuff to kind of go over.
Not we just don't have time on the Wednesday shows because we just talk about Kenobi the whole damn time.
So what's better than another episode of Sarlacc?
Right?
Another episode of Sarlacc.
Yeah, bonus.
So we're going to call this the Lost episode 161, being recorded on June 6th. But I'm your host, Darth Moocher. I've got Scott Solo here with me.
What's up, nerds?
And I got Grand Admiral Franz here with me.
Hello there. With perfect delivery.
General Kenobi.
Yes, very, very much so. So what we want to do is first off, Kenobi, right? Let's talk just real briefly about Kenobi.
Oh no, here we go.
Yeah, I know. No, I just want
there goes the slate.
I know, right?
Hey, should we shout out our Patreon?
Go for it. Yes, yes, go for it.
Wow, Scott keeping us in check. We were rolling.
Wow. I was ready to roll, man.
Sorry. Special shout out to all of our Patreon listeners and subscribers. We love all of you. Thank you very much for making us look this great and for keeping the lights on while this train just keeps on rolling towards its inevitable wall.
Damn.
Wow.
All right, guys, with that.
I'm kidding. I'm
Darth Chris.
You can catch me on Hot Topic next week, making a comeback since Sarlacc just imploded.
I'm going to cry now. We have a wall we're going to hit.
Yeah, later. You want to come with me, Mooch? We can.
Yeah, right.
Let's go.
We're done.
Damn it. Hey, special shout out to Brian and the Star Joes podcast, Cliff, Don and Brady of the Escape Pod podcast and the Red 5 Network, Flavy Davey, formerly of the Nerds with Attitude podcast, Don the Dad Dorn, Justin the Vanilla Thunder, Mervine, Gavin Connor, the Holy Hour podcast, Crystal Lamphere, Brandon and Anya Epler, and AJ from the Forbidden Panel. Thank all of you. If anybody else wants to join in and, start throwing us $1 or $2, we'd appreciate it. Patreon.com/Sarlacc Digest Podcast.
The link is in the description below.
Spelling counts.
And spelling counts. Yes, right.
Hey, and who's in the pit tonight, Scott?
Yeah,
nobody.
Kind of funny.
Damn.
I mean, it's kind of
it's like half the show anymore.
Live. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
so, but I'm hoping that everybody does catch up on this episode. We're going to bring up a lot of this stuff throughout our inevitable stay here, our time remaining on Sarlacc.
Yeah. All right.
As we race to our doom.
As we race towards the wall, Wile E. Coyote comes out and he paints an opening in the wall, and we just zoom right on through it.
But it's not Wile E. Coyote that puts the
It is Wile E. Coyote that paints the.
Is it?
And then the
Roadrunner.
Oh God, the Roadrunner runs through it. So we're the Roadrunner in this scenario.
We're the Roadrunner in this scenario.
Sure.
Okay, guys. All right. So live again. Kenobi episode 4 is coming out this week, and I the one thing I want to say is that, because I don't think we're going to get into this when we start the live, everything that we have seen in the trailers is come to fruition. I don't think there's one scene left. So with that, we've got brand new territory coming into the remaining 3 episodes of Kenobi, and I was telling Chris this and before the show and everything, it was like, that gets me so excited. And in our chat, right, like, I'm so excited because I'm just gonna sit back and just let it happen, right? Just let it happen. Because sometimes when the trailers happen, you're like, okay, there's still this scene and there's still this dialogue, but I think
how are they gonna get there? And now that I know this, that makes more sense now.
Right,
and
right.
None of that's there.
That's cool. I like that. I think they should always do that with everything they do. Dropping trailers, it should be like the first episode, and that would be it. And then it's all brand new territory from then on. But guys.
And I guess you should mention before you even get into the real slate is they pretty much have greenlit Kenobi 2.
Yeah,
really?
Ewan McGregor mentioned that he wanted to come back.
Right.
I think Hayden Christensen mentioned that he wanted to do more.
Oh, he's all in.
And I don't know if it's official, but I think it's mentioned somewhere. Yeah,
I do got to see where Kenobi 2 is happening, because I think Golly, dude, golly,
Wow.
jeepers. I swear I even read somewhere that seemed recent or decent today.
It was
That
all
they had to
over-
rewrite the end
Oh, so they can
of
carry
the last
on.
episode, or re-edit the end of Kenobi this season.
I gotcha. I don't know if
Princess Leia does not make it home. Obi-Wan still has her.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
You know,
and then here we go
sometime-
with the kid.
Yeah,
seeing each
sometimes I
other.
want because sometimes less is more. If they just give us this, bookend season, and that would be it, and then we can carry on and then do our original trilogy thing. If they kind of beat this time frame to death or what he's doing, it might water down some of those things in the original trilogy. No, I mean,
It could.
yeah, the whole hermit wizard thing, and I know that he wasn't just sitting around, but I don't know. We'll have to see. Like I said, I want to see where this season goes. I want to see where this series goes because I'm all in. Like I said, all brand new territory. I'm loving it.
My concern would be, of course, at the end of this season, he's back on Tatooine, and then we've got another show that's just on Tatooine, which was my concern originally for this show, but they nipped that in the bud real quick.
Yeah,
and which works for me. I absolutely love it. I love that he was guilted into taking the mission. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, would that work again? Probably not. He would probably be stuck on Tatooine doing whatever it is.
Well, like I said, there's a point where he's kind of like, okay, this is it. We got this awesome adventure and this whole Vader conflict thing and that thing that we talked about. And then when we see it, if fast forward 8 years, he's already faced Darth Maul and he's in this thing and Rogue One and New Hope happens. I think I like that versus spreading it. And everybody loves more because it's working. But
yeah, no, dude. I think if they had a good ending to this one, they should have ended it at 6.
Yeah,
I like it so much. I won't want it to end, but by going too far, you open yourself up for.
And that's always been Star Wars for us, right? Like when we had our 3 movies growing up, that was it. And we had all these other adventures playing on in our heads with the action figures and the comics, but with all these other things, and we made those adventures happen. And I kind of like that. So with the opposite direction with Andor is greenlit for 3 seasons or 2 season 2's already like started production already from what I heard. And then I heard that I don't know if it's official, but what I heard was season 3 they were gonna have 3 seasons in this whole thing. That tells me that the story is more important than the actual people.
I think they cut Andor to 2
seasons, 12 episodes each season.
Okay,
yeah, and Mando's going to 4. Is that what we heard? 4?
Yeah. Initially, long time ago, we said I heard that there was 5 seasons of Mando and 3 seasons of Andor, which again, Andor excites the hell out of me. I think when I was looking at that Variety of Vanity Fair article and I saw Diego Luna in the here, right, and I was thinking, I go, you know what I think is going to happen, which I'm kind of hoping is that I think Andor and the story being told and the series is going to really, really hit home for us. Just like Rogue One did. And I know that because of the same creators doing it. With that trailer that dropped with us, I watched it over and over and over and over, and I got a whole different feeling than all the other stuff that we've got, even in the Mandalorian stuff. I felt like Star Wars. I felt it. I felt because, again, it's bringing back the Rogue One feeling. Rogue One is like a perfect Star Wars movie to me. It felt... You're muted.
You're muted.
It seems more cinematic than these sometimes, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like these, you have to let some things go because you realize it's a television show. It's not on TV. So sometimes I'm looking at stuff and I'm like, okay, it's off, But Andor doesn't look like that. It looks like it's straight out of Rogue One.
It sure does, man. And I think that's Tony Gilroy, the creator. I think that's him. I think that's his understanding and how plugged in he is on the cinematic and Star Wars. I think that's him making that feel more grand and more epic than it is. And I'm like I said, I feel what we're going to get at Andor is probably going to mean so much more to Star Wars than the Mandalorian and all these other shows. I mean, we're geeking out and fanboying about like Ahsoka and stuff, and I'm sure it's going to be great. But I have this gut feeling like Andor is really gonna take it home for us. I really do.
I agree because it's not something that we were necessarily clamoring for, but at the same time they say, hey, we're going to make this series. And I'm like, okay, bring it. I can't wait. I mean, Cassian was a really cool character. So,
oh God,
I wasn't even hyped at all about this until the trailer.
Right.
And now that I've seen the trailer, I'm all in. I've just felt felt right. So I'm
cool.
excited for this one.
Yeah, I'll continue to watch more of it because again, we're only 2 months away from Andor. I mean, less than 2 months away, which is so freaking cool. And 12 episodes. Dude, it's so good.
It's so neat that these are all dropping right now because you got to figure somehow they're all going to connect.
Yes.
Right. They're all this and Bad Batch too.
Yes.
They're all going to connect. Is it going to be Quinlan? Is it going to, is that connects them all? Is it Grogu going to pop up somehow in each of them?
Yeah.
Just each character, they're going to connect. It can't be Leia all the time, even though I think she's great. Leia can't connect. She won't bother with Bad Batch, right? But in Andor at all.
I do think in our last episode, Miss Sunflower, or I guess in our future episode, since this is the lost episode, in a future episode of ours, Miss Sunflower had said something about.
She will say.
I believe she will say something about Quinlan Vos maybe being the one that rescues Grogu. And that would be cool because if you follow his story through Clone Wars and the old comic book, he had ties to the underworld. He had ties to the scum and villainy of the universe, and that's kind of who Grogu ended up with was scum and villainy.
You're right, yeah.
Him. Because you think the Mando went in to get the asset, but those people there that he fought were there protecting Grogu. They weren't holding him hostage.
Yeah.
If you look at it that way,
true. The Empire sent him.
Yes, the Empire sent him.
The Empire
to get
wants
him away.
Correct.
Yeah, you're right.
He was being protected by all of those people.
That is a great plot, like a even of a plot point for the Mando that's to come find out that the mercenaries were protecting him, hired like that, and Quinlan Vos was directly involved. I love that. That.
It puts Quinlan alive back then.
Yeah.
Or in Mando time too. You're trying to put him
like
that's
he
cool.
survived all this whole time.
That would be cool.
Where was he during all the other stuff? We'll find out. It
doesn't
could be
matter.
The book of Quinlan Vos. You know what I mean?
Right.
I thought about that earlier today. I was like, we have Mando season 1, season 2, and then the Book of Fett, Mando season 3. Or are we going to get more books of? Would be kind of cool. I think if they intertwine some more little like in between season 3 and 4, we get another book of something.
Okay.
Like book of a different character. Book of Luke.
Yeah. So like it could be
Book of Luke would be awesome.
Well, it could be the book of Quinlan Vos, right? Like maybe his happenings and his.
So not
I'm just saying, like, I was trying to keep it in the bounty hunter theme because if you look at it all, it makes sense. Like the book of IG-88 or Dengar, But we'll see. I mean, I don't think it should be just a one-off, like the Book of Fett, because it is a direct, it is like a chapter.
I felt like that just made sense because the way the Mandalorian was chapters, and they said, okay, here's a whole different book. And now we're gonna, it would have to be like a super like important character right there to be the only book of. Boba Fett's the only thing really standing out that would make sense for that.
I don't Mandalorian, because
it's
like
intertwined.
And like I was saying, if you like you just said too, if it is a book, Mandalorian season 1, Mandalorian season 2, Mandalorian season 3, the book of Boba Fett, and then essentially
that's how we as kind of read it. I know Disney Plus doesn't have that kind of slate. You know what I mean? I think I was talking to somebody at Celebration about that, and I go, but in our heads, we can read it that way, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
This is season 2.5 or season 3, if you will, and then season 4 is the next one. But they're like, no, because Disney Plus didn't put it that way. I said, yeah, but who cares?
It's pretty essential to watch it that way, though, because
that's what the argument was.
Yeah, if you don't, then you whenever Mando has Grogu in season 3, they're going to be like, well, what happened there?
Right.
How did he get Grogu?
If people skipped it,
they made clear that Star Wars is different than these other things that you can't reboot. She said this, right? Kathy said that Kathleen said it a couple weeks ago. You can't reboot it. You can't do things like that, right? And that's why Star Wars is one big story. They have to just keep it going and work on the stuff, so you can't screw around and do that,
Right. Well, like I said, it just makes sense on a visual guide like Disney Plus would have Book of Fett wedged right in between. Then it tells people watch this to understand this instead of like a whole thing to go to. But hopefully people understand to go to Book of Fett. You know what I mean? Like, hopefully. And that's why we're here. That's why Starlight Digest exists. You know what I mean? To tell you these kind of things. But
and honestly, is anybody who's watching these things not gonna watch whatever comes out? I mean, really,
even just to complain about it, everybody watches it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's been driving me nuts. That's been driving me up a wall. this last couple of weeks, how much groups of people hate that show.
Of Kenobi?
Yeah, like I totally get it for Boba Fett. I understood it.
Yeah,
I could even see some of the griping on some of the Mandalorian stuff a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? I don't see it in this one at all.
I don't either.
Not at all.
I've seen that too, and I just kind of gloss over those. I go, come on, like really?
Yeah.
I've ignored it.
Yeah, and I go, I don't think so. I love how everybody says it. The first episode, two episodes in or whatever, and they go, this is it's all crap.
Yeah.
But you haven't watched the whole thing to make that judgment. And then
how do you know it messed with lore until it's over? Because they haven't changed anything in lore yet. Grand Inquisitor is not dead until they
don't know.
Turn off the season. He's alive to me because they have him somewhere.
Yeah.
They're not going to screw with canon until we see how Kenobi and Vader leave each other. They haven't messed with the master and apprentice, learner and master yet. I'm okay with that. None of this is screwing with anything. Right. Now at the end, if none of that happens, it's screwing with stuff.
The other thing, other than the Inquisitor, I saw a lot of people, or not a lot of people, but noisy people bitching about Darth Vader's voice and how dare they modulate his voice. I'm like,
they don't get it.
Why wouldn't you?
They just don't get it.
No, they don't.
That was, like I said, this, in our future episode, I said that. I said I was nervous about
this.
Yeah, I will say this. I was nervous about that because Rogue One, James Earl Jones, is aged, and it was familiar, but yet showed that it was like, oh man, I felt bad, sad because oh man, we're never gonna get that Vader, and I thought they did an amazing job. I'm just hoping that when Lucasfilm and Disney and even Moses Inc., all these people look at the positivity around the stuff and really of course the negative is always the loudest, but they really look at they're doing things right. Let's not revert back to oh, they don't like it, let's try something else. No.
Right.
You guys are on the right path.
What kind of really screwed up the Rise of Skywalker was kowtowing to the people who were really the vocal minority who were really obnoxiously loud about it.
Yeah. Hey, George Lucas did it too. He's guilty of it too. I mean, everybody was so loud about Jar Jar Binks that he admittedly wrote him out of 2 and 3 in the way we got 2 and 3 because he needed that progression of the story, but he immediately wrote him out because of the backlash. So his ultimate vision wasn't set in stone because of the people. And that's why a lot of people were like, oh my God, put George Lucas back involved because his treatments for 7, 8, and 9. I go, hey, you're the same guys that made him rewrite his script to take a character out because you hated it. And now you want him to have this micro quantum world, and that's good. It's
So it's same people that bitched about the prequels, and I'm one of them. I did not enjoy the prequels like everybody, like Chris did. I mean, I know Chris loves Attack of the Clones. I still don't. I try. God damn it, I try. But I can't.
No, I'm in the same way. It's I didn't. I love them for what they are, and I just always take it from the day one that I saw them. I love them for what they are. The execution we got around it. It was just we took a long time. It took 20 years to get around the execution. So this stuff like this nitpicking about Vader's voice being a perfect Vader's voice. Hey guys, it's not David Prowse behind the suit either. So
right, it's not even Hayden Christensen a third of the time.
Right,
really.
Yeah, they have a guy that's 6'7" that's in the suit to make him look imposing, and they have a different guy that does some of the fighting, scenes. So, but it is Hayden when they first meet.
But
each
by
other
God, he sat in that chair really menacingly.
Well, I don't think that was him.
Yeah,
he
probably wasn't in it. Just that one desert shot. That's it. That was Hayden.
The far off full body is him. The far off full body. The close up full body.
Whenever it was really Hayden too with the brown cloak on, that was definitely him.
That was definitely
him. Oh yeah, but so again, there's the loudest, the two people in the corner shouting to get most press. I just don't understand that anymore. But to continue on the slate, I want to get go to the things that we actually know and saw during the celebration stuff was Ahsoka, and I don't know if we mentioned this, but Ahsoka was said to be the continuation of Rebel season 5, basically.
God.
And that was,
I mean, you both know that
me.
That's my jam right there. I just finished watching Rebels for the 4th time.
And
I'm about to start number 5 because Julie wants to watch it again.
Absolutely.
So I'm like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
And I'm in because it's Ahsoka and Thrawn. So,
and like I said, the continuation of
too.
Rebels is just. I'm so excited for it, guys. Like I said, we saw the leaked footage, and it just, I mean, that little snippet of it, and it was just so exciting. But
it's funny the way, because when Rebels first started, I want to say whenever it first came out, I wasn't sold on it because that first episode, about 2/3 of that first episode were really kind of not childish, it's the wrong word, but it was really geared towards a younger audience.
Yeah.
But then the minute that Kanan puts his lightsaber together and you see the full vision of the story, it was no holds barred, just action adventure. And I want to say in the entire saga of Rebels, there's 2 episodes that I can easily just say, nah, not this one. And that's it.
Here's Dave Filoni at its best, because let me tell you, and we'll lead right into Tales of the Jedi. What, like I said, what we saw was like this little nice innocent thing, but he promised, look, it is going to get nuts, and that's why I was like, oh, but at the same time, I'm promising, of course, I'm going to watch it.
And they can go nuts now because they just went nuts in live action. So, and we already kind of know they can go nuts in animation, but I can imagine if he's saying that, and like he was coming out of his chair saying it. Oh no, it wasn't like kind of like, oh guys, it gets dark. He was like,
sure, he was making sure because he saw my face, and I was just like, and so he's like, he goes, for you, Darth Moocher of the Starlight Digest podcast, you are going to eat your words, and I'm like, yes, I love doing that because I'm hungry and I eat a lot, so. And I'm cool with that. I'm honestly cool with being turned around on a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It never happened with Resistance, but that's okay.
No,
Resistance isn't coming back.
You hope.
It's not. It's not coming back. There's no way.
It was better the second time, but still not very good.
Yeah. So of course, that's Andor. That's Ahsoka. That's Tales from the Jedi. We know Bad Batch season 2. We know Visions 2, and those are in the fall. And when you mentioned that we're going to get this weekly slate, I think it's happening as of Andor. We're going to get it because when we only got, June's going to finish up with Kenobi. We got July and all of August to kind of sit and wait. Andor's August 30th, 12 episodes there, and that leads us to right almost where fall is at, where we're going to get Bad Batch and Visions. Is that we, Bad Batch, again, if it's 16 more episodes, that's going to lead us, well into Mandalorian season 3, February 3rd. Visions in lumped in there. Tales of the Jedi lumped in there. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that will.
It's more like a fiscal year than a regular year. They're talking. Like it's then it goes weekly. It's so weird.
And then exploring that that original slate, the only 2 things that we really, or 3 things that we really haven't heard much of was Rangers of the New Republic, the droid story, right? Tales the droid one, and the Lando.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah. So,
and I thought that one was like ready to go. I thought that was coming up in December. I could have the
droids. And they might sneak that in because Tales of the Jedi was snuck into the slate, like Boba Fett was. It was like, here's this. Droids, we might like one of those things like here Christmas time. Here's droids here. I don't know, an animated 5-part series or whatever it's going to be. Lando's going to be. I think Lando is really put off because that's a series. Yeah, but that's a series that can, right? Because those are what we're expecting is the Chronicles of Lando Calrissian as said in Solo. So doesn't have to. Like, you don't have to watch this to understand this and understand this. They could be like, hey, next year, 2023. Sneak it in just like everything else. Rangers is another one that was a direct tie into, like a direct spin off of Mando. So we haven't heard anything on that. We didn't even if it's still going, if recast.
I think didn't it quietly like get dismantled, like, and they moved on to something else.
I think so.
I don't know, but it was never. Yeah, it was one of those things where I felt more or less it was the media or the social media that kind of dismantled it. They haven't said anything whether it's going. Maybe. It's like, but they haven't said anything that was going forward either. So a lot of people take that as it's not doing it.
And we've heard news on absolutely everything else, even if it's not news. Like they've asked questions, like the Brian Johnson trilogy. We've at least heard questions about it, but I've heard nothing about that.
Yeah,
0.
And the Taika Waititi movie is still slated for 2023, which is
that's another
Weird.
One of those something that wasn't in the original slate that is kind of like, okay, let's put this in here. Yeah, it's a 2023 release, and from what we've been hearing and stuff, everything's ready to go on it, right? I think he has a script. He's been have a script. We just haven't heard anything officially, like who's casted, what is it called, what's it about, anything like production started. That could be put off too. Rogue Squadron is interesting because it got interesting because of Kenobi. Scott, take this one. You know what I'm talking about.
I think I might mention this in our next episode too. That the child that is rescued from what's the fake Jedi's name, Chris?
Oh my God, Haja.
Haja rescues Corran Horn and his mother and sends them to Corellia. Now, if for those of you not in the know,
that's all I heard when you said it.
Corran Orleo. So Corran Horn is the main protagonist in the Rogue Squadron novels written by Michael Stackpole. So does that mean maybe we'll see that?
I'm saying
character?
Yes.
Yeah, there's no reason to not do that. And the timing would work with the way they said because Rogue Squadron is more sequel time frame.
Was he force sensitive in the Rogue Squadron?
Yes, he was. He was force sensitive. He didn't know that he had force abilities, but he knew that his grandfather had force abilities. So
what a great little Easter egg. Honestly, that's a great Easter egg. We know Rogue Squadron
set up something in a movie.
Yeah.
That's
that name. Again, it's an Easter egg. It may never come up like, that you ran into this, he was rescued as a kid, but knowing that they're paying very special attention to detail when it comes to future content and adding it in all these other things that we're doing.
And just the little bits about, his hair was the right color. He was wearing green, and Corran Horn always wears green. His droid is green. His X-Wing fighter is pinstriped with green. I mean, it was really cool.
It's on purpose.
I'm
guaranteed it's on purpose.
They're not gonna do it on accident. Nobody comes up with that kind of name on accident.
They don't come up with it on
force
accident.
Sensitive and age and make them age appropriate.
But it doesn't mean that they have to follow through with it. It means that they should, but it doesn't mean they are going to. So
well, it's laid out for them to do it because of the announcement of the movie.
It's a layup, man. They tossed it up there. The alley-oop is there. You just got to slam it,
Maybe Patty Jenkins was not wanting to go that route. And then Filoni's like, oh, you're going there now. And he put it out there, and he's like, sucker. Because the fans won't let you get away with not doing it now.
That's right.
And we talked about it a couple of weeks ago that Michael Stackpole gave the Rogue Squadron script 2 thumbs up. So, I mean...
He did, and he's
that is his creation.
Yeah, he was directly like a mentor involved in the whole thing, and they'd be dumb not to. I would say that because they learn a lesson. I don't know. They can't just go rogue on some stuff. They have to.
You can't just keep leaving these wide open threads and just hope we'll forget about them. Right? You're not going to forget about that now. Just like I'm not forgetting about Maz Kanata's story for another time. Eventually, it has to get tied up. Right? And so you just stop doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And Tales of the Jedi would work perfectly in that kind of segue. You know what I mean? An animated version of how she got the thing with the lightsaber would be great.
That's a good point.
I can dig that.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't even touch that in Galaxy of Heroes or anything. They just completely glossed over it.
Wouldn't that have been a purpose? She was narrating that.
Yeah.
Oh, they should have called that Stories for Another Time.
That's right.
And then
Galaxy Heroes,
their marketing sucks.
But at the same time, that was also done before The Rise of Skywalker. So who knew maybe she was going to tell the story in The Rise of Skywalker originally?
Yeah. This is how genius things come to fruition. And I'll tell you why. Dave Filoni sitting on a plane writing these short stories could open up this entire world that was never thought of, even with Force Awakens being written when Maz Kanata said that. But him doing this project, and maybe hopefully everybody buys into it and he does more, can go back and do these things that fill in the blanks, just like John Knowles wrote or started the production of Rogue One as a side project, gave it to Kathleen Kennedy, and said, "Look, this is something that I'm toying with." And she said, yeah, go ahead, but on the side, do it like on your own time kind of deal. And then it became this huge thing. And now we have an Andor spinoff as one. It's those creation by mistakes that are ingenious. When they tried to sit down and write a trilogy, we got the sequels.
They didn't even try.
Yeah. So it's like we've spent $4.1 billion. We need that back like now. But those are the kind of things that excites me. So you guys saying that with the stories from another time, the Tales of the Jedi being what it is, and that it's like the first season or what, concentrating on a specific time and a specific character, doesn't mean that. And going back what the comics did, they jumped around timelines. It's a perfect opportunity for them, and hopefully they know it, because again, Dave Filoni is one of us, right? I mean, I want to say like the most of the ideas that he come up with, he's thought of. You know, that's what I want to feel, and we cannot be the only ones saying it. So I'm hoping that those gems find their way into the Star Wars canon and world and in Filoni's lap, you know. And if it takes him to run the gambit, then by all means, you know what I mean. So. With that said, one of the like the shocking things that came out of Celebration was the Skeleton Crew. You know, we didn't really get a chance to really dive into it. You know,
not at all.
No, we knew John Watts of Spider-Man, Homecoming, and all those fame. But we knew he was working on something. So was Kevin Feige, right there. They mentioned we wanted to work on something, but this is not Kevin Feige, but John Watts this is his project. You know, and oh God, what's the actor's name? Jude Law. Thank you. Jude Law's involved. He's a great actor.
He could have been Kenobi if McGregor bounced out.
I agree.
Really.
I agree. But this came falling to, again, one of those things that's wedged this show into here. Now, it got me thinking. This is supposed to be set into the sequel time frame.
Yeah.
This is gonna a lot of controversy if it goes this way, but if you really think about this, what was said, what was the Skeleton Crew said? It was a group of kids on a planet that got thrust into a Star Wars world, and this is what really came up in my mind.
Okay, Broom
Boy and his cohorts of other kids. This is what popped into my head about the era. The era fits. And this is a group of kids, and led by a Force-sensitive kid, could be thrust into a Star Wars story. It's on Canto Bight, which it's a distant world. It's not, you know, it's something that I feel Kathleen Kennedy would jump all over. I think the old writers of the stuff would jump all over. This would be the Skeleton Crew. I don't know how it would. And here's one of my things. On one hand, I'm like, I don't think they'll do it because of the backlash of the sequels and all these things, and you know, Rian Johnson and all that stuff. But on the other hand, it's like a perfect setting of what they told us it would be in the sequel era, a group of kids. You know what I mean? Like it almost kind of works. You know, Tamiri Blagg, right? Tamiri Blagg is the Blue Boy's name. So it almost works in what they've told us. Now, we'd have to see it, of course. You know, we have to see all that stuff. But what are you guys' thoughts on it if they do go that route on this?
I know that in his statement, he also said it's very Goonies-esque. And as long as if it's an adventure like that, if it's an adventure like that set in the Star Wars world, I honestly, you can throw Tamiri Blagg in there if you want to, and his cohorts, as long as it's done right. But I don't necessarily think they will, though. I do think this is a perfect opportunity to introduce something new and to push the story forward.
It's the Mandalorian time frame.
Oh, is it the Mandalorian?
Mandoverse. Yeah, I just checked it.
Okay.
I had heard at first. I had heard what you said. I heard that the day one. But sequels to everybody is post return. Right. So this is a sequel time frame, but 33
years in that.
Yeah, this is going to be closer to the Mandoverse. So this is where I could see this Underground Railroad. Well, you wouldn't need that anymore. So just kids. So yeah, just I don't know.
Well, it
Lost
also
Jedi
depends.
And Luke finds him in the end. I don't know.
It also depends. They could be in the outer reaches where, you know, the First Order are forming. Maybe it's kids trying to get away from being taken away and turned into stormtroopers.
Yeah,
Well, we don't know. I mean, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
If they say thrust into a Star Wars story, what immediately comes into our mind, right? In this time frame, the Jedi are being hunted. You know, just like all the sequel.
Well, not anymore. Not anymore. See, we're in the Mandoverse.
Not post.
We got to pull ourselves out of Kenobi.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
New
the Jedi
Republic
are trying to be found, right, by Luke Skywalker.
They're trying to be found. These kids get lost and try to find their way home. That's what we know about this one.
That's what it was. Yeah, and like I said, my immediate attention went to, like I said, I thought sequel trilogy era, but you're right. Sequel trilogy starts the Battle of Endor, or the celebration of Endor, all the way to the last
that sequel to some people, right?
That's
Disney era sequel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's why I was like, oh man, I don't know how that would work in the public spotlight, because I'm worried. I never should be worried about that. That's what really bugs me. It's like content, and they go like they announce something, and then I have to go like, well, geez, what is the backlash going to be? Instead of going like, oh hell yeah, let's go watch this,
It's but I get it though, because I'm sitting here and Kenobi comes out, and the minute Kenobi comes out, I'm thinking, okay, in my mind, okay, what are people going to bitch about this time?
Yeah,
what
sure.
is it going to be this time that makes me want to quit the internet? And,
right. Well, I knew what it was going to be this time. It wasn't going to take much. There were two things that were going to make people.
But so I mean, more to come, guys. But I counted 13 projects that were in production, that we've seen, and are coming.
Does that include like the games, like Fallen Order 2 or whatever?
No games. This
just
is
TV
live
and film.
Action, live action, animation, and film. That's it.
Because I missed a lot of what you guys are talking about, because I was stuck in line for freaking ever.
Yeah.
To meet, but you got to get near Palpatine.
Yeah, I did. Separated by a
allegedly, because that looks like it could have been cut and pasted together with any other picture. From
if you really think about it, they were never in the same room.
I could put my picture right there next to it and be like, "Hey, look what I got."
We should.
Yeah, like.
Oh dear God!
I mean, seriously, but
we laugh because it's funny.
It is.
Yeah. That's not including all of the announcements of the video games and stuff like that. That's just basically Disney Plus and theatrical stuff. And there's really one or two theatrical stuff: the Taika Waititi and the Rogue Squadron. Everything else is Disney Plus.
Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes. So did you see the rumor? I saw a rumor today about the Acolyte.
I didn't even have that on here.
See, you're
That's
killing me.
14.
14.
That's 14.
Hell, this was going to bring up a bunch of old EU legends. To life. This is going to bring Bane and
yeah.
Really?
Now, when it comes to so the Acolyte, right? What I saw that headline. It said that, and a lot of people are they posted a picture of Revan on there and stuff. If it came to like the lore, like bringing in that stuff into this show, like the lore behind it, and just like we were talking about the Nihil, right? If the Nihil were the
somehow related
Nihilists,
to Dark Nihilists,
just like the Revanites were a cult following of Revan, years after him and stuff, that would be like that direct ascension. And I think that would be very cool with the Acolyte to have that kind of deal, like if the Revanites were a thing.
Well, and it opens up a gate. It opens up a doorway to tell those stories too, to gauge interest, to see if people were willing to go into the ancient past and stuff like that.
Like the Acolytes is somebody who would study something and be obsessed with it and be really in, right? So this is this person probably trying to learn everything about the Sith, and then we can get like a Tales of instead of Tales of the Jedi, more or less a Tales of the Sith type thing, and we go back and get history. This person's learning through holocrons and shit.
Yeah, go back to the books, right? The
Old Republic.
No.
The other ones. Oh, geez.
The Tales.
No, what the Empire's End last the
the Aftermath books.
Thank you, the Aftermath.
Because there were acolytes.
Acolytes of the Beyond.
There was that one Imperial soldier or officer that was collecting everything Sith and everything. Like he had the Imperial guard helmet, right? Remember, he was collecting all this stuff to preserve, just because this is a lost history and stuff. And but they supposedly got Vader's saber from the Acolyte, right?
Yeah, the crystal or the saber, I don't remember.
Well, because there was a Vader following too on that book too. There was a cult of Vader there too.
It was the saber. It was the saber,
it was a saber. And that's where it was like, okay, maybe that's where Kylo Ren got the melted Vader helmet too. From like the artifacts, which would have been kind of cool. But yeah, Acolyte.
And none of that ever really came out anywhere, right? Like everything was just like a tease and F it. Like you don't have to know the whole story about everything, which we don't.
Well, it's like the Hermit Luke. The Hermit Luke had like I've got the hot toys of the Hermit Luke, and he comes with the red Kyber crystal. And it was like, oh God, is this going to be Vader? How is this going to play into it?
Right,
it's not. They're going to show it dangling.
It was
right.
That was from Revanite. Isn't that what that was?
I think so.
Something like that. It was some kind of ancient crystal when they explained it in like the art book.
That's what JJ did. He goes, hey, these guys, we'll just have to like, okay, Kylo has the melted Vader helmet. They don't need to know that, but we have to know exactly how they fell into the exact spot at the exact quicksand and found the dagger that goes to this. I mean, because otherwise they'll just be confused. So that's just the chaotic of that writing.
I'm still confused about all of that. So
yeah. I'd like to erase it. I really do. I would really love to erase the sequels, but we can't. No, we're in it.
I just, you know what? The only one I really have a problem with
about it anymore.
The only one I really have a problem with is Rise of Skywalker because it didn't follow through with all of, at least. I mean, The Last Jedi didn't follow through on some of the promises from The Force Awakens, and The Rise of Skywalker just kind of said, Tales. I keep calling it Tales. The Last Jedi didn't really happen.
Yeah,
we don't.
There was some.
I've come to terms with all three of them. I just don't love them. I love Force Awakens. I'll watch that any day. You put that on right now, I'll watch it.
Yeah, I like all three. I like The Force Awakens just because it's familiar and it does set up a lot of cool things. But yeah, Rise, man, like the use of Force Ghost Luke in Rise was like a joke. It was a joke. It really because the one thing that we all agree on, was Luke Skywalker's arc and him becoming a Force Ghost in The Last Jedi, which to me was brilliant. I loved it. I don't care what people say. It was great because the potential of him coming and doing powerful things in Rise was thrown away and not even like it was just kind of like to make fun of the saber throwing over the shoulder.
Yeah, and it's like we said before, it's Mark Hamill, not Luke Skywalker, and that's a problem, and he forgot in that one.
Yeah. So, but yeah, guys. So that was a quick run through of 14 projects.
We're done?
I'm including Mandalorian season 3 in that. I'm including the stuff that we've already gotten. Right. If you really look at what we got, it's just Visions, Mandalorian, Book of Fett. That's it. Oh, Bad Batch. Sorry, Bad Batch. Oh, Bad Batch trailer. Did you guys watch the trailer?
Once. I need to watch it again on a big screen. I think I watched it on my phone.
Yeah, I watched it, and the trailer to me really didn't show.
Well, there was
much
two.
Other than
there was one that went to everybody, and one that just went to people at Celebration. Which one are you talking about?
Well, I saw the everybody one. Yeah.
Oh, the Celebration one was better. You could see there was Mount Tannis. There was there was other the Wookiee. I lost his name right now.
Yeah, wasn't it the Wookiee from Clone Wars?
Yes, him and Hayang.
Then I must have seen it because I saw those two little bits.
Yeah.
So it should be
it's so funny.
Oh no, Hayang was on Ahsoka. A live action. That's why it was a big deal. Yes, because I wouldn't have really gave a shit if he was in Bad Batch. It made sense for him to be in Bad Batch.
I could have sworn I saw the animated, but okay.
No, check it out. It's on the we have it somewhere. But the Ahsoka deal.
Awesome. But yeah, like what the Bad Batch did get, it was the Emperor. They showed the Emperor on there.
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, so did Rise or so did Resistance, or not the Emperor, but Kylo Ren or whatever, and
he showed up in an episode.
If that's it on Batman, remember on Batman, it was like he should be more of these. It's like, come on, where's Vader? Where's all these things? So.
It's like Ian McDermott said though, he won't make an appearance in Obi-Wan Kenobi, but his presence will be felt. And I don't.
Good. That's what we want.
It hasn't yet. I mean, other than just being the era of the Empire, but I mean that alone is. I think it's enough. If you've got Vader, you don't necessarily.
So the first two episodes, up until halfway through that first one or second one, I was like, oh shit, Vader's going to be in this. I didn't care. So you shouldn't have to worry about a character like that carrying it. Just happens when he showed up, he took it.
Yeah, and the mere like I said, I don't need a Emperor running around in Kenobi. I don't because sometimes hearing a voice, seeing a hologram, or just a hand. Or something like that means it just because again it's not his story, you know what I mean? Where we get him in the original trilogy and all that stuff. It's those little Easter egg stuff that excites the hell out of us, I think, as those cameos of the important. Like I said, we got way more Vader than I expected already in Kenobi, honestly.
And that was just the tip, dude. That's
Yeah.
round 1. If there's not round 2 and 3, I'd be shocked. There's going to be at least 2. And where Kenobi has to do he's going to have to do his training montage with Quinlan, right? Go through his Rocky moments and do all that and get back to in shape. And then he's going to go at Vader and teach him who the master is one more time.
I feel there's going to be a couple epic lightsaber duels coming up.
Yeah.
Coming up.
So, did we go over who we think Quinlan Vos is going to be played by?
We mentioned O'Shea Jackson Jr.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We will mention it.
Yeah.
In episode 162.
We will mention it in episode 162. And there was another post I saw today, and it was like had all the characters listed, and it was like, what do you think about this? I'm like, yeah, are you listening? And wonder if they saw ours. I wonder if they traveled in the future and saw our episode, because people are taking our stuff that we came up with and they're running.
I saw that one on his Twitter was the deal.
Yeah,
it was right after that, because he was backing up Moses Ingram,
right.
And said, wait till you see what I do.
Yeah,
and then it's because again that is going to throw everybody off. It would have thrown everybody off without any other talk or non. This could be the greatest thing ever, and having O'Shea Jackson Jr. play Quinlan will throw everybody off.
We mentioned it. We're in on it. We're in. It's just that Quinlan Vos was more of a Native American kind of character.
That's what I think is going to toss around some people. So.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen him depicted as African American, as a black dude, right? I've seen it, but I thought it was in fan art. I don't think it's been anything official,
right?
But I've seen it depicted.
Yeah,
and it fits. It suits. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
but
in the episode in Clone Wars, it was kind of like you can go either way.
Yeah, but here we go though. This is a touchy subject, and probably not for the three of us to discuss. It's not really our realm, right? But if that were reversed, everybody would be yelling race swapping, right? If white folks, we would be like we would, right? And that's the thing is it's a touchy thing. So
and that's
I touched it, but that's as close as I'll touch it right there.
Yeah, and that's the beauty about Star Wars and what we do in our head our whole lives was. What's Earth? I don't really care what's going outside my door. I want to see Star. And again, Star Wars is Star Wars, man. And we support it, man, and we're good with it. So
So, are we headed to the planet Jabim? Is that where we are headed? It is, right?
Half of them are, yeah.
Right. So Jabim, if you guys read the old Republic comics from Dark Horse. Was the site of a major battle where Anakin and Obi-Wan they sided with the natives of Jabim to go against the Confederacy, the Count Dooku's droids. And some massive crap went down on there that really tested Anakin's leadership abilities, and he thought that Obi-Wan was dead and Anakin was forced to actually kind of lead a group of Padawans, and everybody ended up dead except for him. And it's just, I'm wondering if we are approaching that, if we're going to get to Jabim and that's actually going to mean something to Obi-Wan and Anakin overall in these stories.
And that's where you'll get our flashback. That
is very possible.
Yeah.
And let me tell you right now, if you look up those old comics, they're awful. It was really.
It felt like I never read them.
It felt like fan fiction. It was so badly written. The artwork was okay, but you could tell that it was written before the Clone Wars cartoon came out, because the clones were like killers. They were not. They had no personality. It was like, let's just kill them all. It was bad. Yeah. And so I don't think that would necessarily fit. It would have to be tweaked. But if at least we saw they had been to that planet before, I think it could be interesting. There could be some more emotional baggage for Obi-Wan to deal with. Well,
that's like a perfect segue to where the next 3 episodes can go. It's like that place brings back things, and then the flashback scene, and you get more Hayden in that whole thing with the arm. We get Obi-Wan and
that better happen. I'm saying right now, if we get through this whole series, and those guys don't have a flashback in the Clone Wars armor, with young Ahsoka, it's a miss.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
That's okay. Young Ahsoka.
Maybe that's why they need a season 2.
Yeah, young Ahsoka's pushing it, but the armor has to be a thing.
Yeah. Like I said, maybe a season 2 is just then. Like, you know what I mean? Like, to kind of like get a lot more in there.
I want Ashley Eckstein to call him Sky Guy in one live action episode, and that'll be the best.
Freaking cool, man. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, but
if
guys,
anybody's looking for those comics, it's Dark Horse, Star Wars Republic issues 55 through 58. Don't expect much. It's not that great.
Unless
it
comes to fruition. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So
unless there's a direct tie-in.
Talk about an opposite. It's kind of like a planet that is constantly soaked in rain. So he's going from Tatooine to, planet Victorville to
it gets everywhere.
Yeah.
Is it near Kajimi?
Maybe. I'll have to check my galactic map.
They sound similar, like they would be in the same system, which could put us in a direct course for other people in this time frame, right? Somebody, I don't know, not Poe, he'd be too young, but maybe didn't they show what's his name in Andor as well? Babu Frick.
Oh,
yeah, weird place.
I heard he was going to be making an appearance somewhere, but I didn't know where.
Oh, I think I saw it in the Andor trailer.
Yeah, I think it was Andor.
Was he in the Andor trailer?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I gotta
wait.
Go watch
or was he in the Mandalorian trailer?
He was in a trailer.
Mando? He was in a trailer because I heard the buzz about it, but I thought it might have been Mando.
Really?
This is what happens when you're stuck in a line trying to meet Ian McDermott.
No, you're right. It was Mando. I gotta get my time frames because we're talking.
Yeah.
He's pre-sequel. Yeah. So he would be closer. Yes, he would be Mando.
Yeah, I heard it was Mandalorian that he was in there, and yeah.
You're right. Fix an IG-11.
Yeah. I don't know how you can, but yeah. I mean, that dude was obliterated.
Yeah.
Nobody dies in Star Wars. So.
Not bounty hunters and evil people. Only the good guys die.
That's right, man. All right, cool. So, yeah, 14 pieces of content all separated from each other or intertwined. It's just such a cool thing to know that original slate we got a couple years ago when it had the droids and Lando and stuff, that it is actually growing in between. Like, they're like wedging things in between all this stuff. And
it is all intertwined. Cause that was the point I was trying to drive home earlier about the continuity and the storytelling is they're making it all one big story. That's why you can't reboot it, right?
Yeah.
So it's all going to connect. Even Kenobi and Andor and Bad Batch 2 will all connect to Mandoverse, which will connect to the sequels. It's
and
all
I'm glad
one big piece.
Kathleen Kennedy came out and said and reassured that point.
Yeah.
Like she came out and said it's all connecting.
You can
we
see
need
it
long term. Yeah, of course. I that's when because that whole talk came up with Kevin Feige. It's like what he did in the 10 years and was doing the next 10 years. She's like, hey, okay, it's not that extreme because we're not going to take 10 years and do this. It's going to be more like it's all connected, but each one is going to have its own platform to stand on too.
And at the same time, it feels like it's been about 1,000 years. It feels like this is just slowly eking its way out until we get a show, and then all of a sudden you blink and it's over.
Yeah. No, it's seriously. Like I said, hey, we're half over Kenobi. Oh man!
Just think, if it was a movie, it'd already be over. It would have been a 2-hour and 15-minute long movie, and we'd be talking about it and going, man, what they could have done with it. And yet here we've got three approximate more hours to go of this.
And I don't have any of that yet.
I don't either, man. Like if it ended, if that's what we got, I'd be like, what? This is cool, except for the Inquisitor thing. They need.
No, I'd have questions at this point because the Master and that needs to be sorted out. That does. So if that doesn't, then people that have complaints right now have a point. Yeah. If it gets sorted out, they can go to hell.
Yeah.
And we don't want them validated.
Yeah. What I'm expecting this episode on this week's episode, I am expecting two things. I think Leia, the resolution, not resolution, but there's going to be more of that, like getting Leia back, but also Kenobi's going to get stronger and reconnected with, and I think Qui-Gon's going to have an influence on this one. He's going to have to really get reconnected with the Force to get Leia and face off with the third sister. And I think that is where he's going to be like, it's almost like that Rey moment in Force Awakens, where it's like, the Force Awakens really in her, and she, comes to fruition. I think it's going to reawaken in Kenobi, and I think that's one epic battle that's going to take place. Third sister and Kenobi, and then third sister and the Inquisitor. That's
a lot of saber fighting, dude. Because Obi-Wan and Vader still have to fight again. I'm thinking Quinlan takes on Reva.
Oh well, okay. So I was saying, Obi-Wan and Reva because she has Leia, or she's chasing Leia at this point, right?
Quinlan's going to go with them, I think.
Yeah, but also I this is my feel on the Inquisitor. I think he's going to come back, and him and Reva are going to have an epic saber duel, and then of course she'll die there. You know what I mean?
That's she'll die. I don't think she'll die, man. I honestly think she's gonna. Something tells me she's gonna turn. I think she's gonna turn.
If they were smart, they would kill her, and it's not because of the controversy. It's just because the story it's just there's got to be some finite or final things, Rogue One style. Let's move on to the next story. And
she doesn't exist. Her and that other sister don't exist in Rebels.
Right.
At least not that we see. Right. So you can take them out easily.
But we also had an Inquisitor that just appeared in one episode of Rebels. Whenever Maul took out the fifth brother and the sister, there was a third Inquisitor that just popped in and was killed, and that was it. So, I mean, who knows? She could go off on another adventure. And I love that we're assuming Quinlan is going to show up. I just love it. I really hope it happens. But
that was never, ever on my radar, dude. No. Not even a little bit. And now if it doesn't happen, I'm going to be so pissed off.
I've learned to not expect anything.
Yeah.
You don't drop some shit like that.
You don't do that.
And put him in a position where, oh, yeah, he helps. Not he used to help before. I haven't seen him in a long time. He's literally right now in the process of helping, smuggle younglings.
Yeah, because Scott, also that's a name that you have to make it. You have to follow through with it because of everybody around the Star Wars world. You don't just name drop and everybody's like, yeah, because it's not just an Easter egg. If it was if it was something like for example, I'm just gonna put somebody in this time frame. If it was Din Djarin was here, you know what I mean? Then there's like, so you don't need to because it's familiar to everybody. But a Quinlan Voss name is something that you have to see it through. And
it's so specific to Kenobi because he doesn't have a relationship with anybody else. Quinlan, right? It's always with Obi-Wan. Yeah. So you have to that's the perfect one, and that's the only one that would elicit such a reaction. Obi-Wan right there in that moment of hope, like, oh my God, exactly. I might have to deal with Quinlan here soon. That's what's going on. I love it.
I 100% agree with you. I want it to happen, but at the same time, you're basing this on a character that only appeared in comics and a cartoon that people aren't necessarily following.
And episode 1,
exactly. And that's why you have to come to fruition.
His name means nothing to anybody.
That's why you have to bring him in.
He was mentioned in episode 3 and he's in episode 1. Yeah. He's all over the place. This guy is canon crazy.
I'm just saying, you guys, I want it to happen. I'm hoping it'll happen. I am not guaranteeing that it's going to happen.
These mofos have brought out Inquisitors. I mean, we're supposed to just understand people don't understand what Inquisitors are. We do.
Yeah. Well, they do.
Quinlan Voss is a way easier buy, right, than some Inquisitors.
Think about it. You need zero backstory to bring him. You need zero backstory to bring him in. Obi-Wan said his name. You bring him in, and then they have the history. Everybody understands.
And immediately, if he's the character that the character is, you immediately becomes a favorite.
Yeah.
Right. He's perfect for a TV show. Yeah. Freaking perfect. He's like Haja.
He really is.
Right. They'll play off each other great.
Haja, it's the Thrawn. It's the Thrawn thing. Ahsoka mentioned Thrawn. Everybody's like, okay, she's after this guy named Thrawn, and I don't know anything about this dude.
I retract my statement.
Yeah. It's almost like you have to bring him in. You know what I mean?
You do.
But yes, you're right, though.
We get it. I get that it doesn't matter, but it better freaking happen because the show is flawless right now to me. I got over the music. It took me a minute, right? But it's becoming the music that goes with it now.
Whenever you
I've watched it many times.
Whenever you say it doesn't feel cinematic, I think that at times it doesn't feel cinematic. I think the earthly location that we were in last time and the music are the things that don't make it necessarily feel cinematic.
It's not Star Wars familiar, and that's why it's filmy.
The lighting is so different with the sabers. Not that it's not right. It probably it's better than it was. Is the problem? I asked Logan. I asked Logan. I said, "What's it with the lightsabers right now?" I say, "Explain to me what you're seeing." He's all, "It's intense." That makes sense. That's a good
because it's so dark, you know.
Yeah,
it's so dark in that scene, and it just brightens the whole thing. I'm like, even when you go to episode 2 with the fight when Dooku and Anakin are going at it, and they just do the close ups and stuff.
Right,
it's still not quite that lit. It's
I wonder
super lit.
I don't want to go back to Rise of Skywalker to watch, but in the cave scene with the snake, when Rey ignited her saber, it that right? Was it that blue?
It wasn't that. I mean, because Obi-Wan's is like really like a dark blue. Hers was more of a lighter blue. Like
I was kind of think like
it's just a little intense, and that's what kind of makes it to me pop out a little bit too, and be like, whoa. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I think that's just how all the other sabers should be, because it's obviously emitting real light. Right. I mean, that's what it should look like. Absolutely. So I can't fault that for not looking like the CGI used to look.
And it could also be, different kyber crystal. Maybe there's a different intensity of blue. Who the hell knows? We're sitting here debating the blue light coming off the lightsaber. Which
I'm just saying the things I'm watching to take it away from like a cinematic. If I'm watching on a big screen, I wouldn't see that really.
There is
that much. And then like you said, the earthly piece, and sometimes like even the Vader throne room to me. Yeah. I was like, all right, that would have looked different on a big screen. That's a TV set right there.
Back in the 80s and 90s, every time there was a TV movie, of something or whatever, it was like the special effects were just different than the cinematic effects. But
usually a lot worse. Usually a lot worse. And it's not that different. You can just tell there's a slight difference. There's a difference in quality. And it's not a ton, but it's also a difference in timing and everybody's pay, man. It's a huge difference.
So with that, I think we're going to wrap it up here. I hope everybody enjoyed the last episode of 161. That was, I found it. Here it is.
The episode that I thought we were only going to do about 45 minutes on it, but here we are an hour later.
Yeah, give or take 15. So thank you everybody for joining.
Did you guys see?
Dude, trust me, we can go on for a lot longer than this. As everybody knows. But like, subscribe, share. If you haven't yet, please do so. Leave a comment in the description or the comment section below to see about your reaction to the slate of 14 projects, and more is coming. I know more is coming because there's still stuff we haven't even explored. Please follow us. Join us on Wednesday in our pit and join the conversation as we digest episode 4 of Kenobi.
Talk about Quinlan's appearance and Qui-Gon's first voiceover
coming.
I think that's coming in the last episode.
I think we'll get Qui-Gon. I think we'll get Qui-Gon starting to come through, and then full body Qui-Gon at the end.
That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing.
Gotta happen.
Do you want me to take it the rest of the way?
Yeah. So with that, Scott, go ahead and take us out, and then I will see you guys on Wednesday.
If you'd please join us on Facebook. We've got our Facebook group, the Sarlacc Digest Central. You can find Sarlacc Digest Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, where I'm stopping the 1 minute toy reviews pretty soon here, and I'm going to do a what's on the shelf segment. Awesome. So now it's a 1 minute walk through the toy room, looking at a different shelf every other day. So should be fun.
740 shelves. So that'll take us to.
Let's just say I did 34 episodes in one day. I've got them in the can ready to go. So you might think I never changed my shirt, but honestly, it was a 2-hour period.
That's awesome.
But yeah, please, patreon.com/Sarlacc Digest Podcast. Consider giving us a couple dollars, and it just goes right back into the production of the show. We really appreciate all of our viewers, and man, join us, like you said, in the pit. That's what sets us apart, man. You join us in the pit, and you are part of the show.
Yep.
Your name's on screen. We talk to you directly. We answer your questions. We let you ask questions. It's if you are watching the Sarlacc Digest, you are a member of the Sarlacc Digest Podcast. And we just like to have you guys on board. So please, join us. And that's it.
And with that, Scott,
keep it nerdy, everybody.